Good evening and welcome. Tonight we will be going over the history and geography of Catalonia in Spain. Catalonia, of course, is very famous for being the location of the second largest city in Spain, one of the most beautiful cities in the world, Barcelona, right there on the coast. So much of the history that we're going to talk about will pertain to Barcelona, just know that. But there is a lot more to see in this region. Regions in Spain are called autonomous communities, which is very important to Catalonia's history, actually. So instead of saying autonomous community, I'm just going to say region, okay? There's this, like I said, long coastline here on the Mediterranean Sea, full of lovely beaches and delicious seafood. Yum yum, paellas, wonderful. But this region is also very mountainous. The Pyrenees dominate this whole area up here. Can you see up here? I don't think you can. It says Pyrenees up there in France, because this is a long border with France, as well as Andorra. Don't forget Andorra. Borders Andorra as well. But all of this is all big, snow-capped, glaciated Pyrenees mountains. And going a bit down here, there's small mountain chains scattered throughout. So once you get away from the coast, it gets incredibly mountainous. There are lots of rivers through Catalonia as well, due to having all of these big, snowy glaciated mountains. But the most prominent one doesn't come from here would be the Ebro River. You can see here, flows out into the sea right there. But there's many more rivers. That's not the only main one. There's plenty. We just don't have time to point out every single one because there's quite a lot. We have a lot of history to discuss, so I think we should just jump right in, starting with the UNESCO World Heritage Sites. Of course, I left my tablet way over here. My goodness. Let me pull those up for you. First one we're going to talk about, we talked about when we last covered Castilla-La Mancha. If you're new to the channel, we're going over every region of the world in alphabetical order, and we just hit Spain back to back to back. We had the Canary Islands a few weeks ago, then we had Castile, Leon, Castilla-La Mancha, now Catalonia. So I'll link my Spain playlist up there. So if you want to check any of those out, we've also covered, Aragon, Andalusia, the Balearic Islands. You can see them peeking up down here. A bunch, Asturias, among many others. So check that out if you want to see more about Spain. But we talked about this one in the last Spain video, but we're going to read it again because it pertains to Catalonia as well. And it is the rock art of the Mediterranean basin on the Iberian Peninsula. The late prehistoric rock art sites of the Mediterranean seaboard, the Iberian Peninsula, form an exceptionally large group. Here, the way of life during a critical phase of human development is vividly and graphically depicted in paintings whose style and subject matter are unique. You can see a little horsey right there. I think I said that a few days ago when I filled Castilla-La Mancha. But yeah. Rock art from our ancient ancestors just absolutely cover the Iberian Peninsula. There's many, many famous caves throughout this Mediterranean coast, and they really seem to be like heavily concentrated in this area, like here around Spain. There's quite a lot of them. All right, next we have the, before I get any further, this region's called Catalonia because they speak Catalan. They do not speak Spanish. Catalan it's a unique language. It can be considered a Spanish language because we are in Spain. The people here are Spanish, but they speak Catalan. Catalan and I don't really get along. So I'm most likely going to mispronounce things, and I'm so sorry if I butcher anything. Just correct me down in the comments kindly. I really tried to learn how to pronounce a lot of things here in Catalan. And yeah, it's one of those languages where you see something spelled out and then you hear it and it doesn't sound anything like it's spelled. So, doing my best with Catalan. No offense if anything's mispronounced. But here we have the Palau de la Música Catalana and the Hospital de Sant Pau in Barcelona. These are two of the finest contributions to Barcelona's architecture by the Catalan Art Nouveau architect Luis Dominic y Montaner. Again, I'm sorry. The Palau de la Música Catalana is an exuberant steel-framed structure full of light and space and decorated by many of the leading designers of the day. The Hospital de Sant Pau is equally bold in its design and decoration, while at the same time perfectly adapted to the needs of the sick. Now, I read this going, how can a hospital be beautiful? Hospitals are very sterile and neat and, still kind of like a calming vibe to it because it's a hospital. How can a hospital be beautiful? Well, check these out. Let's see, there's fountains. That's the music hall. Let me see. This is the hospital. I'm pretty sure at least, yeah. The main wing of the hospital. We're going to look at these places on Google Earth because they're absolutely stunning. These pictures don't do it justice. Here's the music hall, you guys. These pictures don't really show the splendor of these buildings. Absolutely gorgeous. But yeah, we will look at these places on Google Earth. Yeah, that's the hospital for sure. Look how beautiful is that. It's like a castle. But it's even more beautiful when you see the whole layout. Absolutely amazing. Would love to go be treated at that hospital. Next, of course, the iconic works of Antoni Gaudi. Like probably one of the most famous Spanish people to ever live. 7 properties built by the architect Antoni Gaudi in or near Barcelona testify to Gaudi's exceptional creative contribution to the development of architecture and building technology in the late 19th and early 20th centuries. These monuments represent an eclectic as well as a very personal style, which was given free rein in the design of gardens, sculpture, and all decorative arts, as well as architecture. The 7 buildings are the Parque Güell, the Palacio Güell, Casa Mila, Casa Vicens, Gaudi's work on the Nativity facade and crypt of La Sagrada Familia. I think that's Casa Bayo, I think it's pronounced, and the crypt in Colonia Güell. So definitely the most famous is La Sagrada Familia, but this picture really sums up like the Gaudi style. It's that Art Nouveau that you see in a lot of places in Paris, but like more dreamscape, more fantasy, more whimsical. All of these bendy shapes we can see. We'll look at this building too, just how wavy it is, but also so like pointy in some parts and very muted colors there. Usually there's La Sagrada Familia. Of course, we'll look on Google Earth. It's still being constructed today. I think that's a shot of the exterior, which we're probably not going to be able to see on Google Earth, but we'll talk more about later. This building, this is the Güell something or other, one of the Güells. Actually, it isn't really, it's this building here, check it out. It has really terrible pictures on Google Earth. I'm going to need some of my Spanish viewers to come here and take lots of photos and upload them to Google, because the pictures of this building aren't very good. Isn't it beautiful? It's a fairy tale house. There's like a little magical gnome that lives here or something, right? Some kind of fairy creature. Yeah, see the details outside La Sagrada Familia. You can see the crucifixion there. Some knights there. But they're very small. So the outside of the cathedral which again is still being built, looks very like grainy and busy and like it's coated in something, but when you look really close, they're all little figurines. Here's another Gaudi trademark here. Lots and lots of very little colorful stones and little colorful glass. Isn't that cute right there? He really liked that use of color with the earth tones. It's so interesting. Kind of like this. You see how it looks like grainy? Like it looks like if you ran your hand over it, it might even feel like sandpaper to feel rough. It's what the outside of La Sagrada Familia looks like. Here we go. Well, those are just the towers, but aren't those unique towers? Little bubbles on the top. Beautiful ceiling here. I could look at these all day. And then look at this whimsy. My gosh, it's like Aussie. And oh my gosh, I got the wicked nails on. I've got my alphabet nails on. If you've noticed that my nails in the past week or so have been green and pink. I'm so excited. By the time this video's up, I'll have seen Wicked for good. I'm so excited. That really dates this video, but it's around that time that it's getting posted. Look at that blue tile. That's so pretty. All those blues. Oh, okay, here we go. So you see how it's like bubbly? Like it's, like I thought when, this was first brought to my attention as a child when I got interested in geography, I thought that it was coral. I thought it was unfinished, unpolished rock that they were building this out of. But it's all bubbly and weird because they're all itty bitty statues depicting Bible scenes, Bible stories. Isn't that amazing? There's the little houses. That's so cute. It's so neat. Just absolute intense creativity. There's nothing like it in the world anywhere else. Only in Barcelona do you get this whimsy. Oh, I love it so much. I spent way too long exploring Barcelona on Google Earth, just being like, well, every single building just has a charm to it. And then you get to one of these buildings, you see, look at this detail. It's all itty bitty statues. Wild. And then here's super zoomed out. It's amazing. I went live randomly the other day and someone told me that they expect to finish building this next year. Or what did they say, 2026, 2027? It's almost next year. Very soon, in our lifetime, La Sagrada Familia will be completed. They've been building it for well over 130 years. It's that big of a building. Next we have the Poblet Monastery. This Cistercian abbey in Catalonia is one of the largest in Spain. At its center is a 12th century church. The austere, majestic monastery, sorry, that was my stomach, which has a fortified royal residence and contains the pantheon of the kings of Catalonia and Aragon, is an impressive sight. Yeah, so this monastery was the resting place of many rulers of the kingdom of Aragon. If you're saying, but we're not in Aragon, well, you'll have to wait for the history portion to find out why. But it's a very beautiful building and very important to Spain's history. Next is the Archaeological Ensemble of Tarragona. Tarragona, which today is called Tarragona, was a major administrative and mercantile city in Roman Spain and the center of the imperial cult for all the Iberian provinces. It was endowed with many fine buildings, and parts of these have been revealed in a series of exceptional excavations. Although most of the remains are fragmentary, many preserved beneath more recent buildings, they present a vivid picture of the grandeur of this Roman provincial capital. We'll talk about it briefly in history, but we'll look at a lot of these sites on Google Earth because, oh boy, there's a lot. Look, they've got an arch. There's an aqueduct. The, main theater, stadium. We'll look at that on Google Earth. As you can see, it's right by the ocean. Columns that looks like they've been put back together. These columns have not. But yeah, there's a whole bunch of Roman ruins that we can see in Tarragona, and we'll definitely look at those on Google Earth. Lastly, we're going to look at the Catalan Romanesque churches of the Vall de Boi. The narrow Vall de Boi is situated in the High Pyrenees in the Alta Ribagorça region and is surrounded by steep mountains. Each village in the valley contains a Romanesque church and is surrounded by a pattern of enclosed fields. There are extensive seasonally used grazing lands on the higher slopes. Now look at these churches, they're very tall. My goodness. Now I'll let you in on something, in that I spent so long looking at Barcelona on Google Earth, I really didn't explore the Pyrenees very much. I looked around, of course, because how can you not? It's so beautiful, but I didn't really dive into the mountains. So as I was setting up it, I realized, oh wait, I'd never went back to the Pyrenees to look. I'm like, you know what? We're doing it live. We will spend a long time in Barcelona, but we'll also explore the mountains and see if we can find anything like that. Because I only really looked at the mountains. I didn't really look at the villages or valleys or anything like that. I went to go see the tall peaks. So we'll explore in the Pyrenees, see if we can find anything cool. So let's get into this history because it's quite extensive. And then we have a long time on Google Earth. This could be a very long video. So the original inhabitants here, well, would have probably been like our ancient ancestors. They found evidence of like Neanderthals and early hominids, right? Until we get to the Homo sapiens, where we get all that wonderful rock art from. But the first people group that we know of were the Iberians. It's the Iberian Peninsula is named after them. Barcelona and various other places along the coast here were established either by trading Phoenicians or the Carthaginians. Brief history lesson: the Phoenicians lived in what's now Lebanon. Actually, hold on. In 2 weeks, we're going to have a History Magazine video about the Phoenicians. So if you want to know more, just be sure to subscribe. In 2 weeks, we'll talk about the Phoenicians. They lived in what's now Lebanon, on the other side of the Mediterranean. They were really into trading and seafaring, so they sailed across the Mediterranean, exploring new lands in order to develop trade routes, and they started setting up bases here. Their most famous base that turned into its own city and culture and power was Carthage, in what's now Tunisia, way down there. The Carthaginians then became the ones to really explore, and mostly they explored Spain, the Iberian Peninsula today. There are two very famous Carthaginian generals, father and son, Hamilcar Barca and Hannibal Barca, who fought Rome and would lose, but I'm getting ahead of myself. It's believed that Barcelona is named after Barca. It's believed that Hamilcar Barca probably, maybe not established this town, but, made it part of the Carthaginian Empire. But that's not confirmed. Also, ignore this spot. I used to have these big headphones that have like these soft pads around the ears. And I had them for like well over 10 years before I started this channel. And I learned the hard way that if I rested them on my maps, 10 years of grease from my head would soak into the pages. So there's a couple pages where I have stains from those headphones. They're long gone, so don't worry. Just ignore that, okay? Barcelona over here. Probably established or named after Hamilcar Barca. Because the Romans conquered the Carthaginians, the Romans would take over their territories in the Iberian Peninsula, establishing Hispania, among other regions here. And their big city center is right here, Tarragona, or Tarraco as they called it. Not so much over here. It was over here. It was their big city. Roman rule would not last after the Western Roman Empire declined. Many of their territories were conquered by Germanic peoples from Central Europe, and at some point in the 5th century, the Goths came through and took this area from the Romans, establishing their own kingdom, which was centered in Barcelona. I didn't check, but I assume that's because they probably sacked this city but not this one. So they established themselves there. But a couple hundred years later, the Moors from northern Africa would invade the Iberian Peninsula. They would take over, or they would enter Catalonia in the year 712, taking over Barcelona a few years after that, making it part of Al-Andalus, the caliphate there. Now, I've talked about many other places in Spain. I talked about the Reconquista, how slowly but surely the Castilians and other Spanish peoples reclaimed their land across the peninsula until 1492 when they took Andalusia. But that is not the story here in Catalonia. This area was actually liberated by Charlemagne, as we say in English, Charlemagne, king of the Franks and the first Holy Roman Emperor. He invaded across the Pyrenees and took the land back in the year 801, making it part of his empire, part of the Spanish March, it was called. And then Catalonia would really become its own identity. You know, they spoke their own language, Catalan, and they had their own cultures and customs. Not to mention they were separated from the rest of the Frankish Empire by these big old mountains. So even though they were a part of it, they came into their own and became their own thing. That would merge with Aragon over here. Aragon, which I've already covered. They would merge in the year 1137 after a royal marriage united the two. Aragon, of course, as I already discussed, expanded all the way out to the Italian peninsula. After this merger, they grew and grew, and they would merge with Castile with a royal marriage between Ferdinand of Aragon and Isabella of Castile in 1469, making Catalonia now part of, essentially, Spain. Now, the people here always kind of felt not part of Spain, however, because they speak Castilian Spanish. They have their own cultures and ways, and there are its own cultures and ways in Catalonia, and they never, from what I've read, the people here never really felt included in the rest of Spain. They felt really shoehorned in at the end. And there were many uprisings, protests, riots, demonstrations, revolts for Castilian independence. And from what I've seen in my research, the first major one was in the year 1640. The last major one being in 2017, but we'll get there in a minute. That's when that independence movement really started to become strong in the 1600s. It would get even more intense in the 1700s during the War of Spanish Succession. Now, due to all of these royal marriages, families intermarrying, it became debatable who would take over the throne of Spain, if it would be the Spanish Bourbon family or the Austrian Habsburg family. Both had legitimate claims to the throne. Most of Spain wanted the Bourbons. No. Right? Yes, the Bourbons. They wanted the Habsburgs. The War of Spanish Succession. Lots of conflict across all of Western Europe because of it. But the Bourbons would win out. And because of their, disloyalty, as the new king viewed it as, Barcelona was totally sacked in the year 1714. And they lost their autonomy. They lost any of that unique culture that was theirs, and they were told, nope, you're 100% part of Spain now. No more Catalan identity, no more Catalan language, no more Catalan culture. You're Spanish now. So, of course, many people resisted that as well. Brief little interruption there due to Napoleon Bonaparte invading Spain. His empire would rule Catalonia between 1808 and 1813. The 19th century, though, in like the mid-1800s, would really start to see that revival of Catalan language and culture, organically creating their own Renaissance movement. They have their word for it in Catalan, but I don't want to say it because I'll probably mispronounce it, but it means Renaissance. This thriving of Catalan language and culture, and as we move into the 20th century, would be architecture. So Barcelona was mainly just a shipping town. It was nothing special. There was the old Gothic quarter, there was the old Jewish quarter, which was all run down because all of the Jews were kicked out in the 1400s, 1492, I believe. Big year for Spain, 1492, for a lot of reasons. You know that Columbus declared that he found the New World in Barcelona? So a statue to him there because of it. Big year for Spain, 1492, for good and bad reasons. It was all run down. It was very old-fashioned. It was a backwater. It was nothing special. So a lot of architects had ideas to fix this city up. One of them was named Cerdà, I believe. And he thought, what if we created this extension neighborhood? And again, I don't want to say it in Catalan because I'm going to mispronounce it, but it means the extension, where we build city blocks that aren't quite square. They're square-shaped, but with rounded edges. And the inside would be a garden, and people would live in buildings all around it, and then create these big blocks all throughout the town. Well, that's a great idea. As you can imagine, it was very successful, and they're very beautiful, gorgeous, but every single one is completely different and more beautiful than the next. They're incredible. There was also Montaner, we mentioned on UNESCO, who built that beautiful hospital we'll look at. And the music hall, which I can't choose which one is more beautiful. They're both beautiful in their own ways. And then, of course, Antoni Gaudi, that would bring that Art Nouveau style that was big in France to Barcelona and make it his own, make it his style, the Gaudi style. And Barcelona was never the same after that. It is now just an absolutely stunning, amazing architectural wonder of a city because of this time period. Now, as all of this was happening, as Barcelona was glowing up physically and culturally, there were more political movements for Catalan autonomy and even independence. As people were elected in to the government here in Catalonia, pushing for more and more autonomy, more separation from Madrid, it became more and more popular and started to really happen, to the point where Catalonia was granted full autonomy in the year 1932. But if you know your Spanish history, you know what's about to happen. And that all came crumbling down during the Spanish Civil War, which I believe began, or really got big at least, in 1936. This area was pretty much against the Francoist movement. And once Franco took over Spain, they were punished for that, and their autonomy was taken away in 1939. But thankfully, he no longer exists in this realm. He is long gone. Every bad ruler will leave their body in time. It's just a matter of waiting. We just gotta, wait them out. I'm not just talking about one. I'm talking about many that could still be alive today. Maybe I'm talking about nobody. There's quite a few, or none. But they all leave their bodies. And Franco certainly did. And when he did, and democracy returned to Spain, Catalonia was granted its autonomy again, as well as all the other autonomous communities within Spain. Barcelona's glow-up really became complete with the 1992 Summer Olympics. They had to craft their own beach. Apparently they demolished a bunch of very old ratty buildings along the shore to create a beach so they could play beach volleyball and such. This is Summer Olympics, and those beaches are still there today. They turned the old dilapidated Jewish quarter, the Montjuic, I believe, because it's a big cliff. It's like a big rock in the middle of the town. It had a big fortress that was built on it, I believe in the 1700s, but not much else. It was a rundown neighborhood. They turned out into the Olympic Stadium and all the facilities there. And Barcelona really became the Barcelona of today. Now, Catalonia has its autonomy, but the end goal for many people is independence. Independence movements really started to become big in the 2010s. In 2014, they tried to hold a vote for being removed from Spain, kind of like Scotland in the UK. And Madrid lost its top, said absolutely, these are illegal votes. It will not be counted, even though like 80% of the people voted for independence. There would be pushes for it for the next couple of years. Another would attempt to occur in 2017, and that ended in huge riots and tragedy. From what I can tell, that movement is still very much around, but not violent, and I don't think there's any votes being called anytime soon. But again, it's that whole concept of these people have their own language and culture, different from the rest of Spain. And they want to be distinguished because of that. They want to be set apart because of that. Which makes total sense to me. This came up in my live the other day because we were talking about Barcelona and such. And how I am not for or against Catalonia being independent. I am not Spanish. I do not have a horse in this race. I have no opinion. But my general opinion is that whenever a place wants to declare independence, I say, let them. Just sure, if you want to separate. That's my opinion. It either ends in catastrophic civil wars that ends up in one side being extremely dissatisfied, or it winds up in a conflict where the people just get their independence anyway. So just let them. Just avoid all of the nasty. Just be like, sure, give me your plan, and good luck. That's my opinion, at least. It's not pertaining to Catalonia exactly, because I don't know a lot of the details, but that's just my opinion in general. Someone wants to be independent, let him be independent. That's my opinion. But that is the history and geography of Catalonia. I know you guys hate it when I give my opinions, but I just did, so deal with it. That is the history and geography of beautiful Catalonia. Let's get the tablet. Oh boy, you've got a lot to see, and this is already half an hour long. Let's dive into Google Earth in this beautiful corner of the world. Here we are in Catalonia. Let's start by zooming out so you can see exactly where we are in the world. Here's Spain, bordered by Portugal, France, and Andorra over here, and Gibraltar if you want to be technical. And we are, of course, here in Western Europe. Everyone knows where Spain is. Everyone knows where Spain is. But this is where Catalonia is located. In this upper right-hand corner here, you can see the Pyrenees here from above. Let's start off in the mountains and we'll end down in Barcelona. So, you can see Andorra right there. They also speak Catalan. Look at this. Goodness. Look from space. Or at least from very high up. I think that's space up there. Big, beautiful peaks. All lush and green. Little ski chalets up there. Old castles. Quaint little towns there. Oh my goodness, isn't that beautiful? This little patchwork of green. Beautiful rivers flowing down from the mountains through the woods. Lots of sweet cows grazing, enjoying the high altitude munchies. All snow-capped and tree-covered. Looks like a bunch of ski slopes here. Beautiful greens, wildflowers. My stomach's about to make a noise again. There it goes. Hopefully I talked over it. Big waterfalls crashing down. Peaceful, serene mountain lakes with perfect reflections in them. Little streams trickling down past these big boulders and pretty pine trees. Big cloud cover over here. There's a big fog coming in over the mountains. We've got more little cows enjoying the fields. And some big cows enjoying the fields. How beautiful. So yeah, let's look in here. Oh. This town is very important to Andorra. Because, isn't it the cardinal of the Bishop of Urgell is one of the co-princes of Andorra? Fun fact for you, Andorra has 2 princes. One of them is whoever is bishop of this town, and the other is whoever, it was the king of France, so it became whoever is in charge of France. So the current president is also a prince in Andorra. There's some ruins up here. There's, of course, all kinds of neat castles all throughout Catalonia. It's really neat, even along the coast. We'll take a look at a couple of them. What else? What else? Here's another national park. Oh, that's the one we looked at. Did we look at this one? I guess not, because it took a while to load. Holy moly. Look at that. This is the national park. Beautiful peaks there, a little double peak by the looks of it. That is so serene and beautiful. Can you imagine Hannibal crossing these on his elephants? Just like, I don't know, I grew up with elephants. I grew up in close proximity with elephants. I can't imagine this. They can't do this. It's amazing that he got any of them over all of these mountains. That's pretty incredible. And I bet you anything, there are no such trails meant for anything like an elephant over these mountains. That's remarkable. Looks like we got another over here. More beautiful mountains. Like, how many beautiful mountains can I show you? Look at the little town, though. It's so cute. All the stone and the tile roofs. It's giving Andorra. I've done quite a few videos in Andorra as well, if you want to check that out. But yeah, I wonder if we poke around, we can find any of, let's see, like just little areas. Like I said, I didn't really, oh gosh, it's a scary cave. Okay. Caves, I don't know. Caves have just a vibe to them, and they always kind of disturbed me. And then I watched a video about Nutty Putty Cave, and I'm turned off of caves for life. For life. Let's look down here. Look at this little mountain ridge right here. Let's take a look. Hopefully there's no scary caves, because now I'm like creeped out. No, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful valley. What was the name of the UNESCO? It was the Vall de Boi. Let's type that in. Vall de Boi. I didn't even look at this. It's right up there. My goodness, and there's those big old churches. Way too tall. It's almost like a minaret, more than a church tower. This one's really pretty. Very old-timey. All those bricks. The beautiful valley. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 2. Like, oh, you're so close. You were so close. Imagine. It reminds me of the towers that firefighters train in. They're just like these stacks so that they can practice like climbing ladders and such. It looks like that. I assume it's a bell tower. That is not real. Yeah, these look like bell towers. I bet there's bells in each of them, making beautiful little sounds that can be heard all across the valley. Stream right there. It seems like a very peaceful, quiet place to live, isn't it? Alright, those are the mountains. There's a lot more in between. There's a whole lot, you guys. I would, as always, highly encourage you to just poke around Catalonia yourself because it's all gorgeous. Look at the... Stop. That's incredible. Look at these. And I just randomly tapped this. This is so beautiful. Look at these ridges. Holy moly. Wow. These rocks are definitely carved out by erosion. Look how quaint. Oh my goodness, that's amazing. Look at this town. Oh my gosh, it's beautiful. Every place here is beautiful. And there's lots of other places that I'm not going to show you just because we're going to be in Barcelona. But there are lots of other important little towns around to look at. Just know that. Explore them for yourself. There's the Ebro River flowing out there. But we got no time. We have a lot more to look at. Let's go to Tarragona. And look at all these ruins popping up. Here's the amphitheater. We saw this on UNESCO. Right by the beach there. Good place to see a play. Pretty cool. And like, look how much there is. You can really explore so much of these old Roman areas. Even though it's all torn apart, you can still see the bones of it, right? Lots of seating here. I wonder if they still do shows here. Probably not, because a lot of it is so torn down, but that would be cool. I know lots of places around the world still do shows in their old Roman theaters. There's another over here. Another Roman theater. It's definitely seen better days. It's all overgrown. But it looks like lots of statues were found there. Here's what it looks like today, along with what it would have looked like. Isn't that amazing? So, so cool. Whoa. There's a little museum around here. Let's see. I think it's one of these. Yeah. The National Archaeological Museum. That's famous Romulus and Remus statue, but we can see lots of old walls. I'm trying to find the inside. Here we go. Big statue here. Some cool mosaic art. Ooh. Some big urns. What's left of this statue? Just a torso and a leg. Beautiful columns. What are these styles called? Who can tell me? There's 3 types. Do you know which one it is? Drop it in the comments. Who else had history classes where they hammered in the 3 style of Greek columns? But yeah, there's all kinds. Let's look at one more. Whoa, I didn't look at this before, did I? This is not what I meant to tap on. That is like the Congress building. Oh, actually, no, we're not going to look at a Roman thing. We're going to look at this. So this is for the Castellars. So every Spanish town has some weird festival, and that's not like a slight or anything. It's just true. Every Spanish town has a weird festival, and here they make human towers. The big castels. There's a picture in here. See, there's the Castellars. There's a picture in this slideshow of one actually being made. See, they're getting ready to go up. They're starting their tower right there, and then look, and they try to see how high they can go. That is part of their big festival. Isn't that something? Look at that. That would be cool to see in person. That would be amazing. So yeah, I need to show you that. There's lots of other Roman stuff. There's all kinds. Come and check it out in your own time because there's lots to see. I was playing around on the coast here and just came after castle after castle after castle. And see, here's one right here. Beautiful. Very pretty castle, isn't it? That's lovely. Looks cozy with like a church right there. There's another Roman villa. See, there's all kinds of things to see around here. This is a great place to play on Google Earth if you're ever bored. More Roman stuff. Let's see. I think we're gonna head into Barcelona in a minute, but there's all kinds of stuff. But let's go to Barcelona. So I guess we gotta start at La Sagrada Familia, and thankfully this is in 3D. Now look at, do you see all of the buildings? Let's go to a random one. This is another thing I've been doing, is just picking a random building and snooping on their interior. This one's not as good. Oh, see, look, they've got their own garden here, and it really looks like some of them have fences. So like this is this person's yard. They have this house has this. It looks like there's shops in there too. A costume jewelry shop. I love costume jewelry. I saw one that had a pool, like a little above ground fill-up swimming pool, which is awesome. Must have been taken in the summer. And they have their own little park. What is that? I think little greenhouses. I've seen like basketball courts and tennis courts inside. Oh, this is neat. They got a big, I think that's a public park, that one. They've like ripped off the side. Yeah, it looks like the side is ripped off so that anyone can go in there. That's pretty cool. I haven't seen that. Let's see. Let's find another cool one. Just peeking into people's backyards. No, not these. We want the extension homes, but we're going to start looking at stuff that we're going to look at later. But you see, look at this. Is that not incredible? That is an amazing architectural feat. So you can see how they're all square shaped but not angled, so that they can have, let's put in 3D, so that they can all have nice windows or entrances along here. Isn't that something? Every block. Remarkable. You can see all the different shops and things inside. Absolutely genius. And considering this was very early 20th century, when people were like, what if we made nice places for poor people to live? Maybe they'd be better workers. What a concept. But here we have La Sagrada Familia. When it's done, it'll be like the most beautiful cathedral in the world, in my opinion. It's pretty amazing in 3D, isn't it? It's fun to play around. Let's find a slideshow for it. Let's find a slideshow. Not for the museum, not for the park, for the actual basilica. Oh. So regular viewers, you know how Google Earth updated and sometimes this doesn't work? Oh, but now it does. I found a way around it, but when it's not working again, I'll show you. I'm so excited. I finally found a way around it. But yeah, this facade is just out of, there's nothing like it in the whole world. And the interior, gosh, it's like being in a magical forest. Look at these. See, like, do you see how it's all like grainy on the outside? It looks rough. It's all statues, you guys. That's so amazing. All little tiny statues. I imagine, see, look at, it's all details. They're all little scenes. Do you see right there? And right there, there's one. And right there, like, absolutely stunning. Look at the inside, it's just out of this world. It's so pretty. Looks like it's made out of paper over here. It looks like paper cutting. So neat. But yeah, someday I'll get to go to Barcelona, and I bet you when I do, this place will be complete. Yes, I think that'll be my goal. I'll wait for it to be finished. It'll be sometime in the next 10 years or so. And I'll get to see it all complete. So we head down this road, and we get to the hospitals. Now, we looked at some pictures of it on Google Earth. But I'm actually going to show you this in 3D. This is the hospital. This is the hospital, you guys. Wouldn't you want to be treated here? It's like a little town. It's like a college campus. Isn't that amazing? It's like a little, and then of course this building we saw, watch this, you go boom, boom. We saw right here. Gorgeous. Gorgeous. It's like, oh, I gotta go to the hospital for a procedure and I have to stay there for a week to recover. Amazing. You get to live in a magical fairy tale world. Like, what is this? This is so beautiful. No business being this beautiful. And then look over here, they have the more modern part of the hospital. This is what hospitals look like today. Where in the world do you have a hospital that looks this beautiful? Amazing. That is just something else. I'm so impressed by it. 10 out of 10 hospital. Like, jeez, cities. Everything is so pretty here. Let's look at... There's Casamilo. What's that? Oh, we're not going to look at that because I'm going to show you this place instead. Let's look at Casamilo. So this is a swanky apartment building, and it is just beautiful. Look at the tops here. You can see that Gaudi statue style along with the Gaudi tiling up on the top of the roof. This is another building with just that gorgeousness to it. Look at the inside. What? This is some Willy Wonka stuff. This is incredible. Look, oh my gosh, it's so beautiful. There's nothing like this anywhere else in the world. Nothing. And see, even just the regular buildings are still so pretty. Look at the top. Look at the staircases are wavy. Like, amazing. Look at the interior. It's a dream. It's literally like being in a dream where everything is familiar but not quite right at the same time. That's what these buildings are like. But yeah, there's lots of other neat houses around there. There we go, that one building I showed you, Casa Bayo. It's just too pretty. Look at it, all pink and lit up with beautiful flowers all over it. I think those are like poppies, maybe. Maybe it's a war memorial time or something. Or maybe it's just pretty red flowers. It is beautiful. Gosh, stop. That's too pretty. Stop being pretty. It's too pretty. Even look at this building next to it. It's still so beautiful. Stop. It's amazing. I don't have the words for how beautiful these buildings are, but we're going to go look at some more. Let's go look at some more. Okay, whoops. I meant to zoom out. Here's La Rambla. This is the main road of Barcelona. You can see it going through here. Boom, boom. I got it working. And then, like, just everything is so pretty. That's the Columbus statue down at the very end of this road. All lit up, all beautiful. Lots of statues. Lots of, some creepy, some really creepy. I guess that's a street artist, but they look amazing. Beautiful tile work there. All the balconies. It's so pretty. All lit up. The street post lamps, whatever you call them, are also so pretty. Oh, there's Gaudi right there. Where's a picture of the... Oh yeah, see, look. It's also beautiful. It's also beautiful. Can't stress that enough, just how pretty this place is. Here's another Gaudi building. Oh, this is the place I told you that they have terrible pictures. We saw better pictures on UNESCO. Way better pictures, but over here is the Gothic quarter. And you can see the difference just from above. The streets are going every which way. There's no design here. There's no uniform. There's no squares. It's all over the place. And it is called the Gothic corner, or the Gothic neighborhood, because of all the Gothic things that are still around. Like this beautiful Cathedral of Barcelona is super Gothic. This is like, if you needed an example of what a Gothic building looks like, normally I'd say Notre Dame in Paris, but maybe I gotta say Cathedral of Barcelona. Oh, Google Earth is crashing. 1 second. 1 second. Google Earth is crashing. Try to turn it off before it does, because sometimes it takes a minute to crash. Come on. Just give it up. There you go. Tried really hard to crash, and I finally just had to manually close it. I'm not letting you guys see because I have to flash through all these bright lights to get back to Google Earth. All these like bright white screens will pop up. But yeah, there's also this area right here, this old bridge that got left behind during Gothic times. Look at that. I want to like stand on there and recite poetry or something. All of the Gothic little angels right there, and that, whatever that was, water spout. Oh, there's an ark, a triumphal ark. Look at the organ at the cathedral. This area is great, and there's so many more other sites to see. I think the music hall is over here. I thought it was over here. Is the big marketplace, and it was nearby. That's theater? It's near here. I know it is. There's more beautiful buildings I just noticed. Where'd it go? Oh, there it is. No, that's the Banksy Museum. Also pretty neat. There's lots of art. There's a Pablo Picasso museum here. That's pretty great as well. Oh, was that it? No, wrong theater. Where'd it go? It's not popping up. Maybe it is, and I just can't see it. But I know it's like in this neighborhood. Goodness. I might just have to type it in. I know it's over here. Maybe it's over here. I know it's near here. I know we're close. There's the Pop Mart. Where'd it go? I have to show you this theater. The pictures are way better than the ones on UNESCO. Let's type it in. Let me just put Musica. There we go. Barcelona. There you go. It's this big old building right here. But let's take a look. This glass ceiling, and it's like coming down, like the whole thing is a chandelier. Look at all the colors. Look at all the detail. Incredible. Do you see the big organ back there? Wow. Up close at the big, like, window light. Beautiful. Gosh, so intricate. So many details and everything. There's the exterior. It's gorgeous, of course. The interior. That's the stage down here, and everyone sits around like that. The big chandeliers are pretty. The concession stand is pretty. Everything is gorgeous. Wait, let me see. Look at the ceiling. It's like shiny gold. But it's tile work. The chairs look comfortable. The pillars, all with their own designs. There's a big head. Yeah, there goes my stomach again. It's making all kinds of noises. Maybe I shouldn't have burrito bowls before filming, but it was really good. Look at packed with people. Look at empty, packed, empty, packed. It's so stunning. So stunning. Okay, what have I forgotten to show you? There's the Picasso Museum. Oh, I can show you. Oh, there's the History Museum, but the slideshows aren't that great. They're fine. So over here, yeah, see Montjuïc. So here's the old castle up here. What's left of it? Military fortress from 1640 is when it was built. I said 17 something. I was kind of sort of close. But it's beautiful and old and neat. Here's the Olympic area. Big Olympic stadiums and all sorts of different places to play every single Olympic sport that there was in 1992, including the beach. Let's go check out the beach. Playa de la Barceloneta. So yeah, this is man-made beach. And it's perfect, isn't it? Look how beautiful. A rainy day. There's so much to see in this city. I'm trying to think of what else did I forget to show you guys? Because there's just so much. Monumental. Did I want to show you guys that? It's this other beautiful building. It's all beautiful buildings. It's all perfect. This city is just something else. Something else. There's nothing like Barcelona. Beautiful gardens here. There's the Arc de Triomphe, but we already saw a picture of it. See the Gothic quarter next to the extension over here. So I believe what it was that the walls were built around the city, and they came down, I believe, during the sacking of Barcelona in the 1700s. So then they extended the city out to all these little pockets here. Do you see them? That's incredible, isn't it? Casa Vincennes. Oh yeah, I gotta show you this place. What in the Willy Wonka magic? Incredible. Incredible. Look, this looks like a rocket ship from a world that we have no knowledge of. Look at the interior. You know, the interior can be just fine, but he went hard on the interior too. You don't have to. You could just keep it normal inside if you really wanted, but nope, even the bathroom is just fantasy dream world. like that's me right there. What? It's too pretty. It's too amazing. So yeah, there are 5 million different incredible things to look at here in Barcelona. There's just too much to see. I'm sure I'm forgetting something that I wanted to show you guys, but I could show you the museums, but I think I'm going to wrap it up here because this video I know is very long. I'm just going through making sure that I got through all the things that I absolutely had to show you but there's just too much to see here. Way too much to see here. It's so neat. What should be the last slideshow? Let me find one more thing to show you that you absolutely must see. Let's look here at the plaza. I tried. Now it's gone. The main plaza here, again, has no business being so beautiful. Doesn't have to be this beautiful, but a bunch of people decided, what if this city was the most gorgeous place in the whole entire world, and then they did it. Absolutely amazing. But thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this style of content, please consider subscribing. Looks like a little castle right there. It's so pretty. Next we're going to, oh my gosh, we're going to Argentina next, but we're going to see things that you never thought existed in Argentina, like the world's tallest sand dune in Argentina. Beautiful snow-capped volcanoes in Argentina. The southernmost Incan city, ruins at least, is in Argentina. So if you want to see all of that and more, be sure to subscribe so you won't miss out. And please, please, please give this video a thumbs up and let me know all your thoughts down below in the comments. If you're awake right now watching this, hit that thumbs up button right now. I'd appreciate it very, very much. And with that, I just had to let out. I've spent so much of my energy on Spain in the last few weeks, and I'm done. We won't have to talk about Spain till next year when we go to Community of Madrid. My goodness. I've done so much Spain over the past few weeks, and it has been a joy, let me tell you, but it's also been a lot of research and a lot of work and a lot of time on Google Earth, and I'm done. What an accomplishment. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you were along for the ride. And I hope it made you feel relaxed and got some good sleep and maybe learned some cool facts too. I hope that you found this video to be relaxing and educational, and I hope that you have a good